Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Soulwise with me, Semily Sherry. I hope you're all well. I've just returned from a wonderfully refreshing 10-day holiday. Some dear and generous friends lent us their glorious riverside home while they were away, and we surrendered completely to its tranquil embrace. It wasn't far from our own house, but any change of scene has a way of opening fresh perspective. We spent hours walking through woodland, climbing quiet hillsides, and wandering breathtaking beaches. Delicious food and wonderful company were received with gratitude and delight. Altogether, it felt like a reset, a gentle preparation for what's to come, which, as I've come to expect now, turned out to mirror this lunar month's guidance perfectly. It's so easy to settle into comfort and routine until over time they quietly harden into rigidity. Yet right now, that doesn't feel like what's being asked of us. We're being invited to remain open, to allow change and even welcome it where necessary, so that something more beautiful can emerge both in our own lives and collectively. That future is possible, but it asks something of us in return: surrender, trust, and the courage to loosen our grip on what has been. Are you ready to break free? I think you're about to find out. And that brings us on to our guidance for the new lunar month. For June and July 2026, covering the lunar month beginning with the Gemini new moon on June the 15th at 3:54 a.m, and that's in the UK, which is where I live, through to the end of July the 13th. Every new lunar month, I draw one card from the Thoth Tarot to spark intuitive insight about the key energy to navigate by during the coming 4 weeks. I then take a quick look at the astrology. The card I've drawn for this lunar month is the Tower. Although the Tower represents sudden and disruptive change that shakes the ground beneath your feet, if I'm honest, this energy has almost begun to feel familiar over the last few years. And here it is again, announcing yet more revelation, upheaval, and dramatic change. But as always with the Tower, the deeper outcome is liberation. Liberation from limitation, liberation from illusion, liberation from foundations that were never true or stable to begin with. Sometimes the ground must clear before something stronger, more alive and more authentic can grow in its place. This month I get a strong sense of a continued loosening of the mental and emotional stranglehold that much of humanity has been living under. Fear has kept many of us playing small, staying safe, and accepting inherited versions of reality without question. There's a feeling that more may come to light over these next 4 weeks, not only about the world around you, but about who you truly are beneath all the conditioning. And perhaps that's the greatest revelation of all. You may find yourself seeing, sensing, or simply knowing another layer of reality, the underlying divinity of life itself and of your own nature. From this perspective, judgment begins to soften. Categories that once felt absolute lose some of their grip. Black and white, right and wrong, us and them, friend and enemy. Instead, you begin to recognize different expressions of being. That doesn't mean abandoning discernment or pretending harmful choices don't exist, but it does mean understanding that separation itself may be the illusion. And if we can truly accept that, blame becomes less necessary, defenses crumble, war loses its attraction. You are, in many ways, who you believe yourself to be, but beneath every identity, every story, every fear, what you actually are at your core is love. I know it sounds like a cliche to say that love conquers all, but perhaps cliches become cliches because they contain something enduringly true. As an individual soul arising from source and spirit, you are born from love and invited to learn how to embody it. To love yourself, including your body and all the beauty and tragedy of being human. To love life through birth, growth, loss, death, and renewal. To love spirit as your origin. And to love the many forms life takes on this earth, whether or not you agree with the choices being made. I know there's been a lot of conversation recently around extraterrestrial life and questions about what has or hasn't been openly acknowledged. It's a reality I've quietly held space for over many years now. And yes, I already have my ticket booked for Steven Spielberg's new film, Disclosure Day, which seems very aptly timed. On the collective level, you may witness forms of collapse or dismantling this month, particularly where structures, systems, or organisations have become disconnected from truth and life. Conflict may intensify before resolution becomes possible. But remember, destruction is not always the opposite of creation. Just as a forest fire can clear dead growth and return nutrients to the soil, so too can periods of upheaval prepare the ground for something healthier to emerge. So here are some practices I've suggested to support you this month. Notice when you disagree with someone and instead of reacting, become curious. Ask what has led them to think or feel that way. Listen without preparing your response. Engage fully with your senses. Slow down. Savor sights, sounds, textures, tastes. Spiritual insight moves through the body. It's one of your most finely tuned instruments of knowing. Explore where you feel limited or constrained in your life. Be honest about the patterns, beliefs, and behaviours that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Whatever happens, the Tower invites you to trust the life-affirming intelligence of change. And here's the guidance from astrology for this lunar month. The Gemini new moon on the 15th of June and the summer solstice on the 21st of June mark a turning of the cosmic tide. A week later, Mars moves into Gemini and stirs Uranus into action. Shocks, surprises, and sudden events may demand revolutionary change and a willingness to think differently. Appropriately, Mercury, that was a Freudian slip, wasn't it? Maybe there's Mercy there too. Mercury turns retrograde alongside the Capricorn full moon on the 30th of June, inviting a pause and a rethink. At the same time, Jupiter moves into Leo, raising questions around individual and collective power, leadership, and authority. Expect some drama, both inspiring and challenging, as Jupiter energizes the already potent relationship between Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, and brings these larger shifts into lived experience. And if this guidance feels personal, if it touches something that wants to shift, emerge, or be seen, perhaps this is your invitation. As ever, I offer a space of insight, healing, and gentle encouragement to help you hear your own soul more clearly. I've got some links as ever to things that I've referred to in this podcast, and they'll be in the description below, either of the podcast or the YouTube video, wherever you happen to be listening. And so, as always, I send my love and blessings, and wishing you a peaceful heart through what could be another disruptive month. Until next time, goodbye for now.